Mate, this movie I watched is something else. Dive headfirst into the enigmatic world of Spiderhead, a facility that's not just a prison, but a laboratory where the future of human emotion is being written. This video peels back the layers of a narrative so riveting, it blurs the lines between morality and manipulation. As we follow Jeff's journey through experiments that toy with love, fear, and the essence of free will, we're left questioning. What is the true cost of control? Uncover the chilling reality behind Spiderhead's walls. Prepare to be captivated and disturbed. It's set in this futuristic lab prison called Spiderhead. Picture this. The inmates there can volunteer for these wild experiments with special substances, and in exchange, they get their sentences reduced. Pretty cool, huh? But here's the kicker. They all wear this device called a MovieRecap. It's like having a high-tech backpack that's actually attached to you, and it delivers these substances straight into your system. So, there's this guy, Dr. Steve, who's like the mastermind behind it all. He controls everything from his phone. Imagine having that kind of power at your fingertips. Anyway, the story really kicks off with this prisoner named Ray. He's kind of the guinea pig for the first experiment with this substance called G46. And man, the moment they inject it, everything changes for him. They start telling him these jokes that are, honestly, not funny at all. But Ray? He's laughing like he's at the best comedy show of his life. It's both hilarious and a bit creepy to see how fast and completely this stuff works. So, let's dive deeper into this crazy world. There's this guy, Steve, the brain behind all the madness. He's not your ordinary doc. He's like a mad scientist running the show at Spiderhead. And then there's Mark, his right-hand man, helping to keep the experiments running smoothly. Get this. After they're done experimenting with Ray, he actually gets released. It's like, do the time, play their game, and you're out. Wild, right? Every day, Steve hops on his plane and heads to this prison that's more like a fortress of secrets, tucked away from the world. It gives off some serious bunker vibes, far from any prying eyes. Now, the main dude we're following, Jeff. He's got a sort of VIP status with Steve because he's always game for these experiments. It's like he's got a fast pass in the weirdest theme park ever. One morning, they head out into what you'd think is nature for another one of Steve's trials. Jeff gets a shot of N40, and suddenly, he's mesmerized by the beauty of a factory polluting up the place. Yeah, you heard that right. To him, it's like looking at the most stunning piece of Earth, thanks to N40. And Steve? He's over the moon about how well N40 is doing its job. It's all sorts of twisted and fascinating how these substances are messing with their heads. After that mind-bending experiment with N40, Jeff heads back to his room, and guess what? Lizzie, the girl he's got a thing for, is there waiting for him. She's whipped up dinner and is all curious about how his day playing lab rat went. It's kind of sweet, actually, amidst all the madness. The next day, things take another wild turn. Ray's back for more, but this time he's not alone. Heather, another prisoner, joins the party. Here's the kicker. These two don't know each other from Adam. And Jeff? He's still all about Lizzie, not even on the radar for this experiment. But then, Steve drops N40 on Ray and Heather, and bam, it's like Cupid hit them with a semi-truck. Suddenly, they're head over heels, feeling all kinds of attraction they didn't sign up for. But wait, it gets crazier. They're hit with a second substance, the truth serum of this twisted science fair. They start spilling their guts, falling deeper into this chemically induced love fest. And as if that's not wild enough, they start getting intimate right there, under the watchful eyes of the experiment's overseers. No shame, no holding back. They're in their own world. And then, just like that, the experiment ends. The substances stop flowing, and poof, the love spell is broken. Just like that, the intense infatuation evaporates. Imagine going from 100 to 0 in a heartbeat. That's the kind of roller coaster these experiments are taking them on. So, after the whole experiment saga, Jeff and Lizzie decide to do something nice and prepare dinner for the other inmates. It's like they're trying to bring some normalcy into this bizarre place. While serving, Jeff bumps into Heather. It's awkward. They just exchange those "we know what happened, but let's not talk about it" looks and move on. Next thing you know, Steve's cooking up another experiment. This time, he brings in Sarah, who's a bit older and not Jeff's type at all. But, as soon as the magic potion is infused, Jeff's feelings do a complete 180, and they end up together. It's like these substances are flipping emotional switches left and right. Meanwhile, Jeff's Moby pack needs a refill, and Mark, the assistant, handles it. They have a heart-to-heart, and Jeff expresses his desire to get out of this place, maybe transfer somewhere else. Mark, surprisingly, agrees to help him out. But the experiments never stop. Heather and Sarah are up next, and this time, Jeff is invited to play God from the doctor's office. He's given control over the experiment through a phone, with the power to inject fear. But Jeff, he's not feeling it. He doesn't want to play with their emotions like that, especially since he has no real attachment to them. Steve respects his decision, no fear substance today. But he's still curious about the love drug, N40, believing it could change the world by making everyone capable of love. It's a twisted view of utopia through the lens of control and manipulation. In a twist, Jeff catches a glimpse of where Steve stashes his secret notes. Amidst everything, Lizzie, ever the sweetheart, brings snacks for everyone, making sure Jeff gets his share. It's these small moments that make their situation a bit more bearable. Then, Jeff gets a moment with the phone, a rare privilege. He calls his wife, confronting the guilt of a past accident he caused. It's heavy stuff. Later, seeking some solace, Jeff visits Lizzie's room, trying to lighten the mood, to be there for her in this strange world they're navigating together. But the experiments don't stop. Next up, Jeff's paired with another inmate, Rogan, but Jeff's had enough of the emotional roller coasters. Surprisingly, this time there's no experiment with N40. They just chill, and then split. It's anticlimactic, but a welcomed break. Then, a revelation hits Jeff. Heather, like him, has been making her own decisions throughout these experiments. When they confront the doctor, Heather starts reacting to one of the substances, and in a bizarre turn, attempts to cover her mouth with her sock. The doctor, though, halts this odd solution, and they part ways with a simple goodbye. Steve then lays it out for Jeff, claiming that the harsh experiments aren't his choice, but orders from above. He tries to assure Jeff that there's a level of mutual respect in this prison lab, despite everything. It's a hard pill to swallow, but Steve insists that as long as Jeff keeps participating without stepping out of line, all will be well. Jeff, caught between a rock and a hard place, agrees. It's a complex mix of manipulation and forced understanding, all under the guise of maintaining order and respect in a place where freedom is just another experiment. Before kicking off the weekend, Steve has a quick chat with Mark, dropping that the fear substance will be tested in a week, hinting at Mark's evident dissatisfaction with a "don't be dissatisfied" remark. With Mark on his way, Steve decides it's time for some R&R. Meanwhile, Jeff opens up to Lizzie about the whirlwind of emotions he goes through with each injection. She's curious why he's been dodging kitchen duties lately. Jeff confesses it's the toll the new tests are taking on him. Yet he admits Lizzie's presence makes the ordeal somewhat bearable. In a surprising turn, Steve and Mark engage in a bit of boxing for training. Amidst the session, Steve critiques Mark for his narrow view and instructs him to restock his box with more substances. Mark's concern for Steve's potential addiction is met with a dismissive note on the necessity of self-experimentation. Shockingly, their reckless endeavors with the substances have led many prisoners to meet their demise. Jeff stumbles upon Steve's office, catching a glimpse of his own box of substances. Steve's displeasure at this discovery is palpable, quickly concealing the drugs before they head out for another experiment. Steve reveals a grim plan to test the fear substance on Heather, citing committee orders as his obligation, painting a picture of an uneasy alliance between duty and ethical boundaries. As they gear up for the experiment, making sure all substances are ready, tension mounts. Jeff is adamant about not wanting Heather to endure the fear substance, but Steve plays his cards, leveraging their friendship. He reminds Jeff of all the times he's helped him, even remembering his birthdays, as if to guilt-trip him into compliance. Steve, feeling the pressure from Jeff to confront the committee, reluctantly agrees to leave the office to make the call, crossing paths with Lizzie in the kitchen. Their conversation shifts to Lizzie's feelings about the institution, where Steve, in a manipulative twist, tries to gain her trust by mentioning past gifts, a tactic to smooth over the underlying tension. Returning, Steve fabricates a tale of the committee's insistence on proceeding with the experiment, threatening Jeff with a return to regular prison and an extended sentence if they don't comply. Faced with no choice, Jeff agrees, and the experiment horrifyingly moves forward. Heather is administered the fear substance, leading to panic and terror. Concurrently, Jeff is hit with a truth serum, exposing his inner turmoil as he witnesses Heather's distress. As we reach the conclusion of our journey through the first part of Spiderhead, we've delved deep into a world where emotions are mere playthings, controlled by the whims of science. We've witnessed the initial experiments, seen the impact on inmates like Jeff, and pondered the moral implications of such profound control over the human psyche. Spiderhead is more than a facility. It's a mirror reflecting our darkest curiosities about freedom, choice, and the nature of humanity itself. This tale of manipulation, love under duress, and the quest for redemption challenges us to question the very fabric of our emotions. Are they as real and untouchable as we believe? Or can they be twisted and shaped by external forces? As we've seen, Spiderhead isn't just experimenting with substances. It's experimenting with the essence of human connection. If you found yourself intrigued, horrified, or simply captivated by the unfolding story of Spiderhead, I urge you to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you won't miss the thrilling continuation of this tale. What will become of Jeff and the other inmates as they navigate the blurred lines between genuine emotion and chemically induced feelings? Only the next part will tell. Before you go, I have a question that I'd love for you to ponder and share your thoughts on in the comments. If you had the power to control one emotion, to turn it on or off at will, which would it be and why? Think about the implications such power would have on your life and the lives of those around you. Stay tuned for the second part of this gripping narrative, where the boundaries of science and morality will be pushed even further. Your engagement and thoughts enrich our community, so don't hesitate to dive into the discussion. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to exploring the depths of Spiderhead together in the next video.